ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृतं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
परिचायेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं
नित्यं सेवं भागवते
भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
नास्तिभिः
Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, title Attaining the Supreme, and verse number 28, which is the last verse of chapter 8. So today we are ending this beautiful chapter on how to attain the Supreme. Vedesu Jagyesu Tapashu Chaiva
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु
Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Prastidam
दानेषु यत् पुण्यं फलं प्रदिष्टम्
Atyeti Tas Sarvam Idam Vidita
अत्येति सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
Yogi Param Sthanamupayati Chadyam
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
चाद्यम्
Vedesu Jagyesu Tapashu Chaiva
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपसु चैव
Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pradisham
दानेषु यत्
पुण्यफलं
पुण्यफलं
प्रदिष्टम्
प्रदिष्टम्
Atyeti Tat Sarvamidam Viditva
अत्येति तत्सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
Yogi Param Sthanamupayati Chadyam.
योगी
परं स्थानम् उपैति
चाद्यम्
चाद्यम्
Any Prabhuji or Mataji would like to recite?
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपसु चैव
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपसु चैव
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
दानेषु यत् पुण्यं फलं प्रदिष्टम्
अत्येति तत्सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
अत्येति तत्सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
देवेषु यज्ञेषु तपसु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
अत्येति तत् सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
अत्येति सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति च आद्यम्
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
वेदेषु जग्नेषु तपेषु चैव
वेदेषु अग्नेषु तपस्सु चैव
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रसीदत्तम्
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
अत्येति तत् सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
अत्येति तत् सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चद्दम्
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
दानेषु यत् पुण्यं फलं प्रतिष्ठम्
अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा
अत्येति तत्सर्वं इदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव
दानेषु यत्पुण्यफलं प्रतिष्ठम्
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रतिष्ठम्
अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा
अत्येति तत्सर्वं इदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपेषु चैव
वेदेषु
वेदेषु
यज्ञेषु
यज्ञेषु
चैव
चैव
यत्पुण्यफलं प्रतिष्ठम्
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रतिष्ठम्
अत्येति तत्सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
अत्येति तत्सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चैव
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपसु चैव
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव
दानेषु यत्पुण्यफलं प्रतिष्ठम्
दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रतिष्ठम्
अत्येति तत्सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
अत्येति तत्सर्वम् इदं विदित्वा
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
योगी परं स्थानम् उपैति चाद्यम्
Thank you. Word by word meaning. Vedesu.
वेदेषु
In the study of the Vedas.
in the study of the Vedas.
Yagyesu.
Yagyesu.
In the performance of yagya, sacrifice.
in the
The
performance of yajna
performances of yagna,
sacrifice.
sacrifices.
Tapashu.
Tapashu.
In undergoing different types of austerities.
In undergoing different
types
types
of
of austerities.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Eva.
Eva.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Daneshu.
Aneshu.
In giving charities.
in
In
giving
giving
charity.
charities.
Yat.
Yet.
That which.
That which
That which.
Punya phalam.
Phalam.
Result of pious works.
Result
Result of pious work.
Pradishtam.
Pradishtam.
Indicated.
Indicated.
Atyeti.
Atyeti.
Surpasses.
Surpasses.
Tat sarvam.
Tat sarvam.
All those.
All those.
Idam.
Them.
This.
This.
Viditva.
Viditva.
Knowledge.
Knowing.
Yogi.
Yogi.
The devotee.
Devotee.
Param.
Param.
Supreme.
Supreme.
Thanam.
Thanam.
Abode.
Abode.
Peti.
Upeti.
Achieves.
Achieves.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Adyam.
Adyam.
Original.
Original.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. A person who accepts
A person who accepts
Who accepts
the path of devotional service
path of
the
devotional
path
service
of devotional service
is not bereft of the results
is not
Is
bereft
not
of the
of the
bereft of the
results
results
derived from studying the Vedas,
derived from
right
studying
from
the Vedas,
studying the Vedas,
performing sacrifices,
performing
Performing
sacrifices,
sacrifices,
undergoing austerities,
undergoing
undergoing
austerities,
austerities,
giving charity or pursuing philosophical
giving charities
giving
or
charity or
pursuing
pursuing
philosophical
philosophical
and fruitive activities.
and fruitive
and
activities.
fruitive
activities.
activities.
Simply by performing devotional service,
Simply
by
by
performing
performing
service,
devotional service,
he attains all these.
he attends all
attains
these.
all
all
this.
these.
And at the end,
And
And
at
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 the
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 end,
end,
he reaches the supreme eternal abode.
he
he
reaches the
the
supreme
supreme
eternal
eternal
abode.
eternal abode.
Any Prabhuji or Mataji would like to read the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
This verse is the summation of the 7th and 8th chapters, which particularly deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual masters and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order, and if the master neglects to call the student for food that day, the student fasts. These are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
After the student studies the Vedas under the master for some time, at least from age 5 to 20, he becomes a man of perfect character. Study of the Vedas is not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. After this training, the brahmachari is allowed to enter into household life and marry. When he is a householder, he has to perform many sacrifices so that he may achieve further enlightenment. He must also give charity according to the country, time, and candidate, discriminating among charity in goodness, in passion, and in ignorance, as described in Bhagavad Gita. Then, after retiring from household life, upon accepting the order of Vanprastha, he undergoes severe penances, living in forest, dressing with tree bark, not shaving, etc. By carrying out the orders of the प्रभु जी आगे नहीं आता है
Brahmacharya, householder life, vanaprastha, and finally sannyasa, one becomes elevated to the perfectional stage of life. Anyone else would like to read this?
Some are then elevated to the heavenly kingdoms, and when they become even more advanced, they are liberated in the spiritual sky, either in the impersonal Brahma, Jyotir, or in the Vaikuntha planets of Krishnaloka. This is the path outlined by Vedic literatures. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. Somebody else can take.
Yeah, you read, Prabhu. There is one more page after this.
The words idam vidito indicates that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculations, but by hearing them in association with devotees. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like covering for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations extra. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness.
Anyone else would like to read this page?
One who has a little faith in Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter, it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. One should
Therefore,
Yeah, if Prabhuji has some challenges, somebody else can read this.
One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee's association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of the devotee, one is placed in devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgivings about Krishna or God. And Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one releases the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna conscious. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotees to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Golaka, Vrindavana, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports, the 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme.
Thank you so much, everyone. Let's all chant the invocation Pranam Mantra together. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Manobishtam Tapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadamritam Vande Aham Sri Guru Uttakalam Sri Guru Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganadunathanam Sajivam Sadhutam Savadutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam
Sri
Sri
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna Padam
Padan Sahagan
Sagan Lalita Sri Vishakanitancha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vaishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hariti Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyacha Vasindu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo
Jai Shri Krishna
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Gaur Bhakta
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
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 Rama Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. So thank you so much. What a verse to really dwell on a Saturday evening. What a beautiful verse. Krishna has cleared the doubts of everyone in this verse. This is the last verse of chapter 8. There are 10 more verses, 10 more chapters after this. As Srila Prabhupada is saying, this is the middle portion of Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters, the second 6 chapters. We are in the 8th chapter. We are in the middle of Bhagavad Gita. And we are basically sandwiched between the two coverings, the front 6 chapters and the end chapters. All the chapters are very powerful, but Krishna in the middle chapters have given the confidential knowledge. Not many people understand what Krishna is saying here. If people would understand what Krishna is saying here, there would not be any doubt in anybody's mind. So Krishna is saying, Vedeshu, that means a person who is pursuing the study of Vedas, Yagyesu, the performance of yagya or sacrifice, Tapashu, in the form of tapa, in the form of austerities or meditational techniques, Danesu yat purnya phalam pradistam. That means if a person is even doing dana in the form of giving to charities. So in comparison to any of these things, Vedesu, learning of the Vedas and the principles, acquiring transcendental knowledge, doing meditational techniques, giving our charities, doing memorial hospital, this hospital, that hospital, whatever outcome you get, you sum total all this of the result of all this pious work. But in comparison to all this totaling, all these pious works, through acquiring knowledge through Vedas, through sacrifices, through meditational techniques, through austerities, wherein you end up giving away charities, daneshu, and whatever punya phalam you get, in comparison to that, the devotional service is the topmost service. It's actually the bhakti which surpasses everything. So there are a lot of questions in the minds of people who are following the path of karma yoga, the people who are following the jnana yoga, hatha yoga, which is the ashtanga yoga, or there are many techniques which are followed. But as Krishna beautifully explains in this last verse of chapter 8, that a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from all the other things, Vedas, sacrifices, austerities, charities. And if you total all of these, if you total all of these results of all of these pious work, it the devotional service surpasses everything. Why does Krishna say that? Why does Krishna say that bhakti is so superior from acquiring knowledge from Vedas? Why does Krishna says that performance of yajna in comparison to that if you end up doing devotional service, it surpasses. Atyeti, that means it surpasses. Then why does Krishna says when you're meditating, you're trying to put your mind focus and prana bayu in the focus? In comparison to that, why is bhakti superior? And why does Krishna says whenever you're doing charity, doing this memorial service, doing engineering colleges, medical colleges, why all in comparison to that, bhakti is superior? Why Krishna is saying that? That's the purpose of this chapter and this verse, and we're going to talk about it. And here, Srila Prabhupada is actually taking it to a different level. We all heard it, that how in the process of the brahmachari, the grihastha, the sannyas process, these are all varnashrams, and how a person does transcend from one to another. And then Srila Prabhupada talks about the different lokas, different 14 planetary systems, and we'll touch a little bit, and how by doing some purnya, how we go up, by doing some papa, we come down. But the beauty of Krishna consciousness is that by one stroke, we don't have to go back and forth between upper planetary systems and lower planetary systems. So beautifully, Krishna has explained it in this verse. And that is why Krishna says, only a devotee can understand me. The Gyanis cannot understand me. The yogis cannot understand me. Only a bhakta can understand me, which is there in the last part of Srila Prabhupada's purport. So let's try to take a case study and understand how Krishna is approaching this verse. Krishna in 8.11 is actually 17 verses behind. Krishna says in 8.11, persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, they use the word Om, which is a very auspicious word, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. Then Krishna is saying, I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. So Krishna is building a case. If you really try to progress on how Krishna is thinking, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is building a case to get into 8.28 from 8.11. And there he talks about one process where it's a meditational technique, which is given, which is mentioned in this verse also, tapeshu. That means you are doing meditation. So you have 7 chakras in your body. You have the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, as you can see here, and you have the throat chakra, and you have different chakras here in the different parts. So the people who are doing tapeshu, the people who are doing meditation, they are trying to put their life wind in the upper portion of this chakra. And that is where Krishna says, I am that Om actually. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7.8 says, Rasoham apeshu konteya prabhashmi sasi suryosha pranava sarva vedesu sabdakhe purusham nushu. That means he is the syllable Om in the Vedic mantra. Krishna is saying, I am the same Om mantra. I am the same auspicious sound. Krishna is saying, I am Om. And then he's saying, this auspicious syllable is often found in the beginning of the text in a Veda or Upanishad or various different texts. And chakras as the focal points to kind of keep our meditational practice in shape, which is nothing but tapeshu, which Krishna is referring here, in comparison to tapa, which is essentially the meditational technique, wherein you are basically chanting some very auspicious syllable like mantra, which is Krishna himself. Krishna is so beautifully saying that. And then he's saying, with various different yoga systems within Kundalini Yoga, the technique of breath exercise, where they are trying to breathe, the pranayam, the visualization, where they meditate, the mudras, the manthas, the kriyas, and the mantras are focused on manipulating the flow of the subtle energy through these different 7 chakras, which you mentioned. So then he's saying, Krishna is saying from 8.11, building the case on 8.11, he's saying, I shall now briefly explain to you this process. This is the tapeshu process. This is nothing but tapesu, right? Krishna is saying, Vedesu, Jagyesu, tapeshu, chaiva. That means in undergoing different types of austerities. And then he is building the case from 1811 onwards. And I just wanted to give this example because when Krishna is saying, when he is indulging in letting people understand that meditation technique is so and so, but people stuck to that meditational technique as if that is the end of the world. So they stayed with meditation being the topmost because Krishna says, I am the Om. And if it is Om, that is supreme. But then slowly and slowly, Krishna is building the case towards the end of this chapter where he has kept the best verse, where he's saying, in comparison to all of these things you're going to indulge in, the best thing is to love me. If you can love me properly, because love doesn't have any discriminatory barriers between any of them, whether dana is better, tapa is better, love doesn't discriminate between any of these practices. So it is agnostic to any of these practices. And that is the reason why Krishna has saved the best for the last verse. So if the people who are really, professing that meditation is the topmost practice, they stay with 8.11 and they don't go anywhere else. And that's where they're not incorrect. They're not incorrect, but they're incomplete. And that is something which we learn today with this very, very powerful verse in the last chapter. So, as you know, these verses are Veda, Upanishads. They are all compiled by Vyasadeva. So, as you can see, there are 6 kind of avatars. So, it starts with Purna Purushottam Krishna as Karnadokshay Vishnu lying in the causal ocean. Then, from Karnadokshay Vishnu, Garvadokshay Vishnu comes. So, you have the Purna Purushottam Krishna. Then, from there, you have Karnadokshay Vishnu, then Garvadokshay Vishnu, then Kirodakshay Vishnu. And then from there, so that means the first avatars, because Krishna is not avatar. Jayadev has written a very beautiful sloka in the Savatar. That's why we think Krishna is avatar, and that's why we think there are only 10 avatars. But today we will know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has come in more than 25 avatars. So there are 6 kind of avatars. The Vishnu, the formation, the Karnadokshay Vishnu, Garvadokshay Vishnu, Kirodakshay Vishnu. That's the Purusha avatars. The Lila avatars are, are essentially who have come here to perform various different leelas. From Brahma, the 4 Manasa Putras, whose name starts with Sana. That's why they are called Chatusana, Sanat Kumara, Sanatana Kumara, and then Narad Muni, Barahadev, Matsya, Yagya, Naranarayana, Kardama Kapila, Dattatreya, Hayarshura, Hamsa, Dhruva Priya, and there are 25 such Leela avatars. Then we have the creator, maintainer, and destroyer, the 3 Guna avatars. Then we have the Saktavesh avatar, and in the Saktavesh avatar, you'll find our Vyasadev as one of the Saktavesh avatars. So, sorry, after Guna avatar, the Yuga avatars. For Satya Yuga, it's the white color, the Rakta, red color in Treta Yuga, Shama, dark blue in Dwapara Yuga, and Krishna in special Yuga, who is the golden avatar, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Yuga avatar, the Manvana avatar. Then, so they have basically have performed, they have basically originated from the Manu. And then the 6th avatar are the Saktavesh avatar, and that is where Vyasadev comes. So Vyasadev has written these Vedas, which Krishna is referring here as Vedeshu. So here the Yuga avatars, and in the Saktavesh avatar we have the Vyasadev, which is who was created, who has performed significant service to glorify the Lord, and have taken the glories of the Lord in many different places. So as you can see, there are 25 plus avatars of the Lord, and here Vyasadeva, who has written all these Vedas and Upanishads, in comparison to all of that, by trying to learn, eventually, when he wrote so many Upanishads and Vedas, he was not satisfied. So eventually, he completed the Bhagavat Purana, which is nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam, where he described the pastimes of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and his associates in Srimad Bhagavatam. When Vyasadeva compiled that, he finally had some element of satisfaction. Till that time, writing Vedas, writing Upanishads, he was not fully satisfied. So Krishna is saying here, even if you read Vedas, you will not get satisfied, exactly like how the creator Vyasadeva was. You may learn some techniques, but implementing those techniques, and you can always misinterpret it. That's the reason why when during the time 2,500 years ago when they could not interpret Veda, and that is when they were sort of creating nuisance in the society, and that's where Lord Buddha came, and then he sort of uh, got some order into the society. But after 700, 800 years, then it was also uncontrollable when Sankaracharya came. And so we have to understand from the lineage part of it how this evolution took place. Because here in Brahma Samhita, in 5.33, Brahmaji, Lord Brahma, who's come from the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, from the navel of uh, the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu through the stem of a lotus flower, Brahmaji appeared, and then he is the first creation from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. He says, Vedesu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto govindam adi purusam tamaham bhajami. That means that means I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure and unadulterated devotion of the soul. Vedesu Durlabha, who is actually more Durlabha, is so priceless. He is, he is, he is accessible by the pure loving devotional service, and who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without the beginning, and he is endless. And who is the beginning, and who is the eternal Purusha? He is the person Govinda, possessing the beauty of blooming youth. So that means so as Krishna is referring in this 28th verse, Brahmaji has referred in the Brahma Samhita, which he has written, and in the 33rd verse, he says, Vedeshu Durlabha, Adurlabham Atma Bhaktu. So beautifully, he's also agreeing that it is beyond the understanding of the Vedas. And then, as we heard, Lord Buddha came, and from there, impersonalism started. Then Sankaracharya came in the 18th century. He is the incarnation of Lord Shiva, and he wrote many verses. Jagannatha Astakam he wrote, and he wrote many priceless texts. Then Madhvacharya came in the 12th century, who is the expansion of Hanuman in Udupi. He is a proponent of the Dvaita school of Vedanta, or the Brahma Sampradaya. And then Nimbakacharya came. He is the chief proponent of the theology of Dvaita Advaita, who is actually the head of the Kumar Sampradaya. From Brahmaji, there are 4 Kumaras. And so Nimbakacharya was the head of the Kumar Sampradaya. Then Vishnu Swami came, who started the Rudra Sampradaya. As you know, Rudra have originated from Brahmaji after the 4 Kumaras decided not to bear kids to expand the universe. Brahmaji became angry, and from the forehead of Brahmaji, a, a effulgence came, and that turned into a boy who was crying vigorously. And Rudra came up, and Vishnu Swami, he started the Rudra Sampradaya, and Ramanujacharya started the Sri Sampradaya, who is expansion of Lakshman. So these are the 4 bona fide Sampradayas: Brahma, Kumara, Rudra, and Sri. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the 15th century, and we have taken a lot of tenets from Madhvacharya. That's why we are the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya from Madhvacharya, and we are and from there, Brahmaji has inculcated all the teachings. So we are Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. So we are the only one of the 4 bona fide sampradayas in the world. And if you have any doubt in understanding, as Lord Krishna is so beautifully explaining about the comparison and how Srila Prabhupada is saying, you should always take the lessons of loving Krishna through the understanding of a devotee, because only a devotee can understand. Politicians can write Srimad Bhagavad Gita, but they can never understand, because only a devotee can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the essence of the verse, if you think about, if you are a millionaire, right, and you know several lakhs comprise a million, So if you are a millionaire, you are already a lakpati, and so a person who has so much of wealth, for him, you can call him in different levels, whether it is lakpati or you know arabpati or however it is, he's already there. So that means if you have the bhakti, it is understood that you have jnana, you have vijnana, and you have tapa, and you have dana. That's the reason why they say a bhakta is paradukhe dukhi. That means he sees the problems in others, that in this age of Kali, how people are suffering. And that's the reason why they come up and they try to spread the beauty of bhakti or devotion. So you can go to the third floor through 10, 10, 10, 30 steps, or you can go directly through an elevator. You don't need to have steps to go to the top of the building. So Bhakti Yoga encompasses all of this, as Krishna is beautifully explaining about the comparison in all these four methods. And then, uh, as you can see, the essence of the verse being Bhakti encompasses jnana, karma, and meditational techniques. So once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India, and a Brahmana was reading Bhagavad Gita, and he was reading upside down, and he was crying. And when he was crying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that this person is not able to read properly, and he is constantly challenged by his so-called Jnani Brahmanas, that he doesn't know how to read, doesn't know how to read. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to him and asked, "Why are you crying reading Bhagavad Gita?" He said, "I'm reading Bhagavad Gita." Actually, he's holding the Bhagavad Gita upside down. He's saying, by reading Bhagavad Gita, I'm crying because how come Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purna Purushottam Krishna, he could have finished the war immediately, but he decided to be the charioteer of his friend. Just thinking about the humility, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where he is setting that example of humility. I'm crying. I mean, how much hardship he must have gone through by trying to go through this process of reciting and explaining to. He could have finished the war then and there, but he wanted it to be finished by his friend. And that's the reason why he's constantly giving that element of sermon by singing the beautiful verses of Bhagavad Gita to his friend to make him understand. So that's why bhakti. So what do we say? That South Indian Brahmin who was crying, he has jnana, he understands what it is, and he's constantly meditating on the form of the Lord. That's why he's crying. So that's why bhakti encompasses all the techniques. And there is 9 process of bhakti. First, you hear about Krishna, then you glorify Krishna by singing, or by, as we today read this 8.28 over a period of time. I must agree that as we reread that verse again and again and again, we became more dear to that verse again and again. And by the time we were in the 6th or 7th iteration, it was becoming very clear, and we are reciting it very clear. We recited much clearer than when we started in the beginning. So glorifying by perfecting that aspect of glorifying the Supreme and remembering the Lord, His form. Lord is not impersonal. Lord has a form. That's why we do Shringar every day in our temple, because He comes out with the Shringar Darshan, and in the evening He go for Sayan Darshan. So as Lord is a person, we have to remember his form. Tomorrow he's going to wear certain dresses. Day after tomorrow going to. So we have to remember his form and Pada Sevanam, attending the feet of Lord Krishna. And sometimes that refers to our various different dhams where Lord has um, expressed and performed his pastimes in Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, and Vrindavan and Ayodhya and Dwarka and various different places. So whenever you go and cleanse yourself with the powder, uh, the soil of the auspicious place. You are doing service to that place. Archanam, worshiping the Lord, and Vandanam, praying to Krishna, and Dasyam, becoming the servitor of Krishna, like how Hanumanji was, and then Sakyam, becoming a friend of Krishna. People have very unique relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as a dear friend, as a servitor, and then finally full surrender into Krishna. So the nine process of bhakti is so well understood. So this doesn't mean you have to do all of them. You do one after other. However, if you like hearing Krishna Katha, and which gives you that element of devotional service in the form of hearing and transforming yourself, that's enough. You don't have to go through all the phases, but there are many techniques. Krishna is not nicely understood by anybody. So as long as you take to one of these processes very seriously, is going to benefit you again and again. So it's a very unique situation. So in Banaras, there was a very jnani sannyasi. His name was Prakashananda Saraswati, and he was a impersonalist, and he was Saraswati, and so that means he was on the jnana aspect, and some of the top um gurus who have given them this path are very knowledgeable in the Vedanta Sutra. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Banaras, and on the streets of Banaras, he was beautifully chanting. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a golden looking, beautiful person, tall. His hands were touching till the knee. And if you go to Alarnath, which is 17 kilometers from Jagannath Puri, uh, in separation from Jagannath during Snan Yatra, when Jagannath doesn't give darshan, he fell down. And when he fell down, he melted the stone in Alarnath. And if you go to Alarnath today, 70 kilometers from Jagannath Puri, you'll see the outline of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's so tall, his hands used to touch the the knee, and he's so beautiful. So this beautiful Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for this age of Kali, when he was doing Sankirtan in the streets of Banaras, uh, Prakashananda Saraswati uh, and his associates took exception of it and asked why you're doing. You are a Brahman from the Nadia district, and why are you wasting time by performing this dancing? It doesn't look good. Um, and that's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my guru has mentioned to me that based on my interaction, I have taken to Sankirtan movement instead of the study of Vedanta, because I am a great fool, because I can understand the name of Krishna. When the name of Krishna hits me, I have tears coming out of my eyes, my hairs stand up, and I understand that Harer Nama, Harer Nama Kevalam, Kalo Naste Vanaste
Nasti,
Vanaste
nasti, nasti,
Vananyata. So
anyatha.
in this age of Kali, there is no other way, no other way, no other way other than the chanting. The name, Krishna has put all his powers in his name. And when he has put all his powers in the name, all these other studies from Vedanta Sutra doesn't excite me. And when he said that, Vedanta Sutra consists of transcendental words uttered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and should always be glorified. But often the interpretation of all those Vedanta Sutras has no direct bearing on the sutra, and therefore such commentation spoils everything. So whenever Lord is saying that word is magnificent, but when the interpretation comes into picture, then it basically takes away the beauty of the verse, and it kind of spoils everything. And everything that is in the spiritual world is full of transcendental bliss, including the form, body, place, and paraphernalia of the Lord. But when this translation comes, the interpretation comes, it kind of messes. And anyone who accepts the transcendental body of the personality of Godhead as something mundane or certainly commits the greatest blasphemy. And and that's when he said that, seeing the humility, the entire cult of Prakashananda Saraswati, hundreds of sannyasis, they converted to bhakti, because it is the love. which basically transcends everything. You can study and study and study. It won't really generate that element of love. You will become more quarreling. Oh, this should be right. This should be right. Because bhakti is to be understood by simple persons. And in this age, people are not simple. That's the reason why they cannot understand the power in the name. And in that, so many Prakashananda Saraswati devotees got converted and they eventually became the Bhakti Margis after that. So that's why Krishna, towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter, says, Bhakta mam abhijananti. One can only understand me as a Supreme Personality of Godhead by being a Bhakta and only by devotional service. By doing anything else, you'll know me, but that is not incorrect, but it is incomplete. So with that, I'd like to end here. We spoke a lot today. I didn't want to take that much time, but what a verse to really set the tone for our understanding that in comparison to everything, the Veda angle, the Jnana angle, the Yagya angle, the Tapa angle, the Dana angle, the devotional service tops. So we are in the right parampara. We are in the right track, which gives us an opportunity to love. This love is so contagious that around the world, this name of Hari has revolutionized. People who have got in contact with the method which Srila Prabhupada has written so beautifully, it has become so contagious that people all around the world are resorting to this name because in this age of Kali, the name Krishna has put everything in the name. So with that, I'd like to end here. If you have any question or comments, let's discuss. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Hemant Prabhu, very well explained. I have one just question. And like you said, that the devotional service is the you can achieve everything than what you achieve by doing yoga or tapasya or dana. So can you precisely explain what is devotional service? What are the devotional services? Means one who can do what we have to do. Dana, doing dana, we know that. Okay, helping others. So what is devotional services? What are the tasks? Say tangible tasks or tangible duties we have to do to achieve somebody can achieve the devotional service.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you. Very nice question. This is exactly the kind of questions everybody have had in any of their path of because we all practice sadhana bhakti. So devotional service, what is devotion? Devotion is something which is done with love. That is devotion. So anything which gets us closer to Krishna through the expression of love is devotional service. So Krishna, as we discussed today, Prabhuji, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purna Purushottam Krishna. And he says, Aham Bija Pradapita. So whenever somebody asks you, what's your name? Who are you? Who are you? Then you'll say, I am Pradeep. But actually, this name Pradeep is good for 90, 100, 110 years. Then somebody will say, I am Indian. And this is very specific because you are born at part of this country. And there are many countries which have been created and have been destroyed. But essentially, if you look deep into this question, you will realize that you are spirit souls. You are spirit souls, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of God. So the real definition of who you are is actually, I am a spirit soul. And you are part and parcel. So you have traditionally may have been born in this country or in wherever, born to certain parents, and we have that relationship which is supposed to be, revered and respected. But beyond that, we have to think that we have a soul in our heart, and the originator of that soul is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Bija Pradapita. That means he is the seed giving father of all beings. So we are spirit souls. We are not, Suresh, Ramesh, or Jack, John, American, Indian, Muslim, Christian. Because every method, whether it is Christianity or Islam, every path wants the devotees to eventually acquire the love for the Godhead, so that they eventually become or goes back to Godhead. So that's why every method does it. So that is one pointer. The second pointer is, whenever we want to love someone, what do? We bring something, we express it. So love is an expression, not in theory. Lord is an expression. So whenever we want to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we want to hear about the glories of the Lord. When a mother sees his son's name in the newspaper being glorified, she gets very excited. Likewise, if you love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, wherever the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is there, you will be there. Likewise, whenever a love is spread, it is multiplied. So whenever you meet somebody, you speak about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and then in order to remember, as we discussed, Antakale, right? Sometime back we discussed the words Antakale. When we end, we have to acquire that love in such an extent that when we end, we remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, to answer your question, Prabhu, the step is to, whenever we eat something, offer it. Whenever we want to get some peace in mind, read his glories. When you want to get some fun in life, associate with devotees so that you talk about the glories of the Supreme. Now the Damodar month is going. So our day-to-day life, it doesn't tell you that you leave the job and go to mountains and all that. So the devotional services, in every step of the way, internally feel that you are a spirit soul, you're part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you are here on a temporary basis. Dukhalaya Sostakam. That means you are here in a temporary basis, and you are a spirit soul, but in a material body. You are actually a fish out of water, but we think this is the place. And so more and more we recognize this. We do the 9 steps, Prabhuji, what we discussed today. We will get that test, and that taste will become solidified into faith. And then we will only do what is recommended in the scriptures as we have love. So whenever you have love, when somebody is coming, and that person who you love likes kheer, you will go out of the way. Even if milk is not there in your house, you'll go and get. So if Krishna has recommended some of the practices for leading our life, we'll end up doing that if we have that love. So the love is the first thing. Once the love is triggered, you will end up doing everything and anything for your lover. And Krishna is saying, I don't need anything. You just have to love me. You just take one step, I'll take 10 steps. So essentially, anything which solidifies your love is devotional service. So in doing that, there are some details, as you rightly mentioned. What are the specific thing? You chant his glories, you read his books from bona fide devotees, and gradually it will fall in place. It doesn't have to be overnight, but you'll feel the presence of Krishna in everything you end up doing. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, reflections? This is a very good
Prabhuji,
question. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we are from Brahma Sampradaya, okay?
Mhm.
But
Yes,
what
Prabhu.
about the Brahma Kumari Sampradaya? Is there any connection with that?
No, Prabhu. Brahma Kumari is different. Brahma Kumari, uh, they consider Lord Brahma, and their teachings are different. And based on my knowledge, they are not one of the four sampradayas. They are different, Prabhu. They and I don't know enough about them to say uh, anything, but they are not one of the four, uh, you know, sampradayas we just discussed today, Prabhu. They are different, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
I had a comment basically. So in your slide, Prabhu, it was that 9 ways to perform bhakti. Like for example, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam. So is all 9 are needed, or we can do just one or few of those? Like I had the same question, like what exactly is the devotional service, right? So, but here it says here, if you see, these are the 9 ways to perform bhakti. I'm assuming that this is how you proceed to show the devotional service, right? These are the devotional services: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Charam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam.
Exactly.
Is all 9 are essential, or few of them could be?
Yeah, very good question. So let's take an example. Very nice question. If we talk about Hanumanji, Hanumanji was the greatest bhakta of Ramji, and he only had dasyam with him. And through the dasyam, he may be doing archana or vandana of Ramji, but he was prolific in dasyam. So you can stay with any one of them, two of them, multiple of them, depending on your, because we all are spirit souls, we are all unique in our relationship with the Supreme. Krishna has given the seed in you, and through that seed, you end up doing different things. Sometimes what happens is you start with Shravanam, the hearing process, then you start growing the ruchi for some of the other tenets. Then you can, so there is no predefined thing, but with one of them also, you can go and take your sadhana to a very high level. It doesn't have to be. There are some devotees of Srila Prabhupada movement, just by doing kirtan, nothing else, they have perfected the love for devotees. Whenever they will see a pain in somebody, they have not done puja, they have not done the shringar of the devotees, of the deities, but by constantly doing the kirtan in different kirtan melas and different places, they have got all the tenets of bhakti, of paradukhe dukhi, or aspects which are very important. Yes, Prabhu.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Um, any other comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat from all Guru Srila Prabhupada, and thanks for the very, what I can say is very well connected way of explaining this verse from what we have learned, Prabhuji. So really, really appreciate from the bottom of the heart how we developed from 8.11 to 8.16, all the way from 7.8. So to Pradeep, Prabhu's question, Prabhuji, same what you have, there is nothing beyond what you have explained, but in simple terms, to basically, if we center our life around Krishna, that is devotional service. Over and above that, if you can do some service in the temple, or you can do some service within the home, make your home as a temple, that is devotional service. So it can take any shape and form as long as Krishna is in the center, and that is what is, you are devoted when you love your kids, you do everything for them, right? So similarly, when you love, you start, the effect of the devotional service is either you start loving or the love will manifest by doing the service. So they are reciprocal, but both go hand in hand. If you serve, you love. If you have love, you serve. So that is the point, Pradeep Prabhu, that you can, that is what devotional service is.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, so some reflections, Prabhuji, on what, while you are telling what I thought I wanted to share, which is just a repetition again. There is nothing new, but it's a perspective, Prabhuji. First, when you explained about the chakras, Prabhuji, all those chakras, the meditational yoga, the 6th chapter, in a subtle way, and Prabhupada and our Acharyas explain, they are still material, at a material level, Prabhuji. The chakras, the body, because the body is still at a material level only. Only bhakti is the one which touches the realm of the spirituality. By meditation, you may only know the localized aspect of the Paramatma, or it calms your mind by meditation, but it doesn't generate the love, right, Prabhuji? So that's what I wanted to reflect, that
Yes.
bhakti is the topmost. Why? Because it touches the spiritual potency of our, as you rightly told, Aham Brahmasmi, we are spirit souls. So all the other things, the gnana will also only tell the knowledge, but it doesn't give the realization. Bhakti gives the realization, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Jnana is always knowledge only. The knowledge will not let us surpass. The knowledge inhibits, in fact. The knowledge says, oh, this can be done. These are the do's, these are the don'ts. No. Bhakti doesn't have. You can chant Hare Krishna anywhere, anytime, anywhere. That is one aspect, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Second, which I wanted to reflect, is that Lakshmi, the Vishnuji and Krishna, the Vishnu, Lakshmiji serves with awe and reverence. Vishnu is for awe and reverence, Prabhuji. But Krishna, so when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked the question, he told that the gopis, they don't first of all consider him as a supreme personality of Godhead, but they serve him, they devote, they do devotional service to him, they sing for him, they play with him, whatever. So you may ask, how can we do in this generation? How do we sing for, like as you have rightly told, kirtan, or do surveys, or do within your home only? You don't have to go to temple, but if you have time, go and do in the temple also. So what I wanted to reflect there is that they didn't have any qualification, they didn't have any knowledge, they were not educated, they were not rich, but still they had the utmost love for Krishna. So the gopis, that is what the essence of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to give us, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, I have a hard stop.
Even
Can
I
we,
have also, Prabhuji, I have been working since morning. So,
yeah, I'm sorry.
that's why I
but
joined late,
let's,
joining late, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, this
Thank you.
beautiful topic. Maybe we can continue a little bit next time, so we can.
Yeah, sure. Sorry for
let's
that. Even I wanted
No,
to.
it is wonderful points. Wonderful. So let's end here. Vancha
Tarvashya,
kalpataruvasya
Kripas,
Shindovevata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Namo Namah.
Jagannath Prabhu ki jai.